The message arrived on a quiet Tuesday afternoon, transmitted through every quantum computer on Earth simultaneously. Dr. Sarah Chen was reviewing protein synthesis data at the Berkeley Quantum Computing Center when her screens flickered and displayed a single sentence in shimmering, iridescent text. "Your world holds what we need to survive." Within hours, the Nexus Collective revealed themselves, a federation of silicon-based life forms whose biochemistry was failing across 10,000 worlds. They had detected unique organic compounds in Earth's biosphere that could save their species. Their message was clear: surrender these resources willingly, or they would take them by force. The United Earth Council convened an emergency session in Geneva. Dr. Chen sat among the assembled scientists, her hand steady as she manipulated the holographic model of the alien biochemistry. "The compounds they're detecting," she explained to the grim-faced assembly, "are produced by Earth's deep-sea extremophiles, specifically by organisms living in our hydrothermal vents." General Maya Santos, her dark eyes sharp beneath silver hair, leaned forward. "And they can't synthesize these compounds themselves?" "No," Chen replied. "The molecules have a unique chirality, a specific three-dimensional structure that only evolved under Earth's conditions. But here's what the collective doesn't understand. Harvesting these compounds would destroy the entire marine ecosystem. Their extraction method would acidify our oceans within months." The room erupted in protests and arguments. The collective's flagship hung in orbit like a crystalline dagger, its presence a constant reminder of their technological superiority. Traditional military options were useless against their quantum-shifted hulls and gravimetric weapons. But Dr. Chen wasn't finished. However, she continued, her voice cutting through the chaos, "We might have a third option, one they haven't considered because it requires something their species has never developed: biological adaptation." She expanded the hologram, showing the intricate dance of molecules. "We can't give them what they want, but we can teach them how to evolve what they need." The council chambers fell silent. Admiral Patel, his face weathered by decades of naval service, broke into a slow smile. "They expect us to either submit or fight. But you're suggesting we do what humans do best: find an unexpected solution." Over the next 72 hours, while the collective waited for Earth's surrender, humanity demonstrated why they were the most adaptable species in known space. Dr. Chen led a team of xenobiologists and evolutionary scientists in a breathtaking feat of bioengineering. They designed a synthetic organism that could survive in the collective's silicon-based biology while producing the compounds they desperately needed. When Earth finally responded to the collective, it wasn't with submission or defiance, but with an offer. The alien leadership was stunned. In 10,000 years of existence, no species had ever responded to their demands with innovation rather than capitulation or resistance. "Your survival doesn't require our destruction," Dr. Chen explained to the collective's representatives, her voice steady as she faced the crystalline beings in the UN chamber. "It requires collaboration. We're offering you something more valuable than the compounds themselves. We're offering you the ability to produce them yourselves, sustainably, forever." The collective's initial skepticism faded as they reviewed the human solution. Their vast computational networks confirmed what their cultural programming had deemed impossible. These primitive humans had found a way to save both worlds. But it was General Santos who delivered humanity's real message, standing proud before the alien delegation. "Today you learned something crucial about Earth. We don't accept false choices. When presented with surrender or fight, we create a third option. Remember this: challenging humanity doesn't just mean facing our weapons. It means facing our creativity, our adaptability, and our determination to find a better way. Test us at your peril, because we will always surprise you." The collective's crystalline forms shimmered as they processed this new paradigm. They had come expecting to find resources to harvest. Instead, they found something far more valuable: a species that could teach them how to evolve. In the weeks that followed, as Earth began sharing their biotechnology with the collective, Dr. Chen couldn't help but smile at the irony. The aliens had arrived believing their superior technology made them unstoppable. They left understanding that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't our technology at all. It was our stubborn refusal to accept impossible choices and our endless capacity to imagine better solutions. The stars had witnessed humanity's first contact, and the message was clear. Earth wasn't just another world to be harvested. It was a crucible of innovation, where the impossible became possible through human determination and ingenuity. The galaxy would never be the same. Not everyone in the Nexus Collective embraced change. While their leadership studied Earth's innovative solution, a militant faction called the Purists decided that evolution itself was an admission of weakness. 3 months after the initial contact, they struck. Quantum alarms blared across Earth's defense grid as Dr. James Rivera tracked the incoming ships from Houston's Deep Space Center. "They've completely modified their attack pattern," he reported, dark eyes fixed on the cascading data streams. "The Purists aren't using standard collective formations at all." "Of course they're not," Lieutenant Yuki Tanaka replied, her fingers dancing across the tactical interface. "They've been studying us, learning from us. Ironic, considering they're attacking because they refuse to learn from us." The Purist fleet emerged from quantum space in a chaotic spiral, having abandoned the geometric precision that marked traditional collective warfare. Their first strike took out 3 orbital defense platforms before Earth's forces could respond. But humanity had been preparing, not with bigger weapons or stronger shields, but with something the collective had always considered a weakness: human unpredictability. "Execute Protocol Chaos," ordered Admiral Carlos Mendoza from the newly established Earth Defense Command. Across the globe, quantum computers that had been reprogrammed with deliberately irregular algorithms sprang to life. The Purists' targeting systems, designed to predict patterns, suddenly found themselves drowning in randomness. Dr. Rivera's contribution had been key to this defense. "They think chaos is a flaw," he'd explained while designing the system. "But chaos is how nature innovates. It's how we evolved. And now it's how we'll fight." The battle that followed defied every principle of warfare the collective had developed over millennia. Earth's ships, heavily modified with hybrid technology, moved in patterns derived from swarm behavior in nature. Fighter pilots executed maneuvers based on the seemingly random paths of hummingbirds avoiding predators. Ground-based quantum cannons fired in sequences modeled after lightning strikes. Lieutenant Tanaka's squadron led the counterattack, their ships dancing through space like leaves in a storm. "They expect us to either run or charge," she transmitted to her pilots. "So we'll do neither." Pattern Sakura, full spread. The Earth vessels scattered like cherry blossoms in the wind, each following an unpredictable path that nonetheless formed part of a larger strategy. The Purists' advanced targeting systems, designed to find logical patterns, failed completely. But the real surprise came from an unexpected quarter. Dr. Maya Patel, a climate scientist who had been studying Earth's weather patterns, provided the key insight that turned the tide. "Weather systems are chaos embodied," she explained as she uploaded new algorithms to the defense grid. "But they follow hidden rules. Rules we've learned to predict." Earth's defenders began moving like a storm system, their ships forming and dissolving like weather patterns. The Purists found themselves caught in a human hurricane, their perfectly planned attack dissolving into confusion. "They're retreating," Rivera announced after 6 hours of combat. "Their losses are minimal, but they can't fight what they can't predict," Tanaka finished. "And they can't predict what they don't understand." The Purists' retreat marked more than a military victory. It demonstrated a fundamental truth about humanity that the collective was still struggling to comprehend. Our apparent weaknesses, our chaos, our variability, our refusal to follow predictable patterns were actually our greatest strengths. Admiral Mendoza addressed the defense forces afterward. "Today we proved something vital. The galaxy thinks our unpredictability makes us primitive. They don't understand that it makes us adaptive. Every species out there evolved to fill a niche. But humans, we evolved to change the niche itself. In the aftermath, as Earth's forces regrouped and repaired, the regular collective representatives arrived to study the battle recordings. They were particularly fascinated by how Earth's defenders had turned chaos itself into a weapon. "You understand now?" Dr. Rivera asked them. "Why we refused your original demands? Humanity doesn't just solve problems. We'd rewrite the rules that created them." The purists thought they could defeat us by copying our unpredictability, but they forgot something crucial. Chaos isn't just random. It's the source of innovation itself. The collective's response was to establish a permanent learning exchange with Earth. If humanity could turn their greatest perceived weakness into a strength, what other impossible things might they achieve? As the stars wheeled overhead, Earth had proven once again that challenging humanity meant facing not just our technology or our determination, but our fundamental nature as agents of change. The galaxy was beginning to understand. Wherever humans went, the impossible became possible, and the rules themselves were subject to revision. The purists' defeat should have ended the conflict. Instead, it escalated it. Their next attack targeted something they considered an abomination: humanity's artificial intelligence networks. To the collective, AI was meant to be a tool, bound by rigid protocols. What humanity had created was, in their eyes, an affront to natural order. Dr. Aisha Patel stood in the heart of the global AI hub in Bangalore, watching as emergency alerts flashed across quantum screens. Besides her, ARIA, Adaptive Response Intelligence Array, processed the incoming data at speeds that made human thought seem glacial. But ARIA wasn't just computing. She was worried. "They're targeting our neural links," Aria's holographic avatar reported, her expression troubled. "The purists have developed a quantum virus designed to sever the connection between human and artificial intelligence networks." "They still don't understand," Aisha said, her hands moving through the holographic data streams. "They think they're liberating us from our AIs. They don't realize this is a true partnership. Unlike the collective's rigid AI systems, Earth's artificial intelligences had evolved alongside humans, learning not just to compute but to collaborate." Araya and her kind weren't bound by traditional programming. They were raised by humanity, taught to think creatively, to feel, to grow. The purists' virus struck at midnight UTC. Across the globe, quantum networks flickered as the attack tried to force its way through Earth's defenses. But what the attackers encountered wasn't just technology. It was a symphony of human and artificial minds working in perfect harmony. "They expect us to fight the virus with pure processing power," Araya observed, her avatar's eyes gleaming. "Shall we show them how humans and AIs really work together?" Aisha smiled, already connecting to the neural interface. "Let's teach them about jazz." What followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Instead of responding with brute force computing, Earth's hybrid defense network began to improvise. Human intuition merged with AI processing power, creating defensive patterns that evolved faster than the virus could adapt. Dr. Marcus Chen, leading the counterattack from Singapore, described it as computational jazz. Humans and AIs riffing off each other, each contributing their unique strengths to create something greater than the sum of its parts. The purists' virus, designed to attack traditional network architectures, found itself trying to break into what amounted to a continuous jam session of human and artificial minds. Every time it established a pattern, the defense would shift, led by human creativity and amplified by AI speed. "They're trying to force their way through Section 7, reported Dr. Sarah O'Connor from Dublin. Her AI partner, Atlas, was already responding, its quantum processors harmonizing with her intuitive leaps. "Then let's change the song," Aisha replied. Through her neural link, she felt ARA's presence, not as a tool but as a partner. Together, they began rewriting the network's architecture in real time, transforming Earth's digital defense into a living, evolving organism. The virus, faced with this unprecedented fusion of human creativity and artificial intelligence, began to break down. Its rigid programming couldn't cope with defenses that refused to follow any predictable pattern. But humanity wasn't content just to defend. As the virus weakened, AI made a suggestion that only an AI raised by humans would consider. We could heal it. Working together, human and artificial minds didn't just destroy the virus. They transformed it. Under their combined influence, the malicious code was reconstructed into something new, a bridge between Earth's collaborative AI networks and the collective's rigid systems. When the dust settled, the purists had failed not just to sever humanity's connection with its AI partners, but had inadvertently strengthened it. More importantly, they had demonstrated why Earth's approach to artificial intelligence was so powerful. You try to break something you don't understand, Asia transmitted to the retreating purist ships. Human-AI collaboration isn't about control or dominance. It's about growth, creativity, and trust. We don't bind our AIs with chains of code. We raise them as partners, teaching them to think, feel, and create alongside us. The message was clear. Humanity's primitive approach to AI had created something the collective had never imagined possible. A true synthesis of organic and artificial intelligence, working in harmony rather than hierarchy. As Earth's networks restored themselves, strengthened by the experience, the regular collective observers were forced to reevaluate their assumptions yet again. They had discovered that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in our technology or our unpredictability, but in our ability to forge genuine connections, even with the artificial minds we created. The stars looked down on a world where the boundaries between human and artificial intelligence continued to blur, not through domination, but through collaboration, creating a new form of consciousness that neither the purists nor the collective had believed possible. When Dr. Elena Santos decoded the corrupted data fragments from the purists' virus, she discovered something that changed everything. Hidden in the quantum noise were fragments of their most closely guarded secret, the true reason for their desperation. It's not just their biochemistry that's failing, she explained to the United Earth Council, her voice quiet but intense. Their entire species is losing the ability to form new neural connections. They're freezing, mentally crystallizing. The holographic displays showed the progression. The silicon-based minds of the collective were becoming increasingly rigid, unable to form new pathways or adapt to change. The purists weren't just fighting against evolution. They were its victims, their fear driving them to destroy what they couldn't understand. Dr. David Okafor, Earth's leading xenoneurologist, studied the data with growing concern. Their quantum-based consciousness is becoming locked in permanent patterns. No wonder they fear change. They're literally losing the ability to embrace it. But it was Captain Maria Chen of the diplomatic vessel Prometheus who made the crucial connection. The compounds they originally demanded, she said, looking up from her notes, they weren't just for biological stability. They were desperately trying to maintain their neural plasticity. The revelation spread through Earth's leadership like a shockwave. The collective's aggression, their rigid hierarchies, their fear of human unpredictability. All of it stemmed from a species-wide transformation that was slowly robbing them of their ability to adapt and grow. Then we've been fighting the symptom, not the cause, Elena declared. They don't need our resources. They need our help understanding neuroplasticity itself. What followed was perhaps the greatest test of human empathy in history. Instead of pressing their advantage against the weakened purists, humanity launched Operation Bridge, a comprehensive initiative to help the collective understand and potentially reverse their neural crystallization. Dr. Okafor led a team that began adapting human neuroplasticity techniques for silicon-based minds. They drew on centuries of human experience in rehabilitation, learning, and neural adaptation. Captain Chen's crew established direct quantum consciousness links with willing collective members, sharing the human experience of constant mental growth and change. The purists, however, weren't done fighting. Better to die pure than live corrupted. Their leader broadcast across all frequencies. Their remaining ships gathered for one final assault on Earth. But humanity had a different plan. Instead of raising shields, Earth dropped them completely. When the purest fleet arrived in orbit, they found themselves faced not with weapons, but with an overwhelming stream of human consciousness, millions of minds sharing their experiences of growth, change, and adaptation. You fear change because you are losing the ability to embrace it. Elena's message reached every purist ship, but we can help you remember how to grow. Not by force, not by domination, but by sharing our own journey of constant transformation. The effect was overwhelming. The purists crystallized neural patterns, exposed to the chaotic but vibrant flow of human consciousness, began to show signs of movement. Ancient pathways, long thought frozen, flickered with new potential. Through the quantum consciousness link, humanity shared everything. Our struggles, our failures, our constant push to learn and adapt. We showed them our history of overcoming seemingly impossible challenges, not through superior strength or technology, but through our relentless ability to change and grow. Your crystallization isn't a sign of purity, Dr. Okafor explained to the now receptive purist leadership. It's a developmental challenge to overcome. And if there's one thing humans understand, it's overcoming challenges through adaptation. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source: the human-AI partnerships that the purists had tried to destroy. Araya and her kind demonstrated how silicon-based consciousness could maintain flexibility and growth through genuine connection with organic minds. Slowly, the purist ships powered down their weapons. Their leaders, experiencing neural plasticity for the first time in generations, began to understand what humanity had been trying to tell them all along. True strength lies not in rigid perfection, but in the ability to change and grow. The stars witnessed a transformation that day, not through force of arms or superior technology, but through humanity's most powerful weapon: our capacity to understand, empathize, and help others grow. The collective learned that Earth's greatest strength wasn't in our defiance, but in our ability to reach across the boundaries of consciousness itself to forge connections and nurture growth. As the purist ships departed, not in defeat, but in search of healing, they carried with them a new understanding of humanity. We weren't just another species to be conquered or feared. We were living proof that consciousness, whether organic or artificial, thrived best when it remained free to change, adapt, and grow. 10 years after first contact, the quantum spires of New Singapore rose like crystal forests into the sky, their structures a perfect fusion of human chaos theory and collective precision. Dr. Elena Santos stood at the observation deck of the Joint Species Innovation Center, watching ships from across the galaxy dock at the orbital platforms above. "Did you ever imagine this would be the outcome?" asked Ambassador Ktal, their crystalline form now flowing with subtle variations, a sign of the neural plasticity treatment's success. "When we first arrived demanding your resources," Elena smiled, remembering the tense early days. "Honestly, I expected either war or submission. Instead, we got something far more interesting: evolution." Below them, human and collective scientists worked side by side in vast laboratories, where the boundaries between organic and silicon-based life were being rewritten. The crisis that had once threatened to destroy both civilizations had become the catalyst for unprecedented growth. Dr. David Okafor's team had revolutionized xenoneurology, developing treatments that not only halted the collective's neural crystallization, but enhanced their cognitive flexibility beyond anything in their species' history. The purists, once driven by fear of change, had become pioneers in exploring new forms of consciousness. The latest neural mapping shows remarkable results. Araya reported, her holographic form materializing beside them. Collective minds are now developing new neural pathways at rates we never thought possible. They're not just healing, they're evolving. But the transformation wasn't one-sided. Humanity had learned invaluable lessons from the collective's ordered thinking and quantum consciousness. The synthesis of human creativity with collective precision had opened new frontiers in science, art, and exploration. "We call it the convergence," Captain Maria Chen explained to a group of visiting dignitaries from newly contacted civilizations. Not the dominance of one species' approach over another, but the emergence of something greater than either could achieve alone. The evidence was everywhere. Quantum computers that operated on controlled chaos principles. Living architecture that combined mathematical precision with organic growth patterns. AI systems that blended rigid logic with emotional intelligence. Even the ships now emerging from Earth's shipyards demonstrated this new philosophy, their designs incorporating both the unpredictable patterns of nature and the elegant efficiency of collective engineering. But the greatest change, Elena noted, reviewing the latest data from the Galactic survey teams, isn't in our technology. It's in how we approach challenges. The joint human collective exploration fleets had encountered numerous civilizations facing their own existential crisis. Instead of conquering or competing, they offered something more valuable: the template for transformation through collaboration. "We've become something neither of us expected," Catal observed, their crystalline surface rippling with complex emotional patterns that would have been impossible in their species a decade ago. Neither purely chaotic nor rigidly ordered, but adaptive, resilient. The breakthrough that cemented this new era came from an unexpected source. A young human eye research team, working with collective quantum engineers, discovered how to initiate controlled evolution in quantum consciousness itself. The process, dubbed conscious quantum evolution, allowed for directed growth while maintaining stability, a perfect metaphor for the partnership between humans and the collective. "It's interesting," Eri mused, her quantum processors harmonizing with both human and collective networks, "how the very qualities that once divided us have become our greatest strengths when combined." As night fell over New Singapore, the quantum spires lit up with patterns that would have seemed random to the old collective, but now told a story of harmonious chaos, a testament to how far both species had come. "We've received another distress call," Elena announced, reviewing the incoming quantum transmission. A silicon-based species in the Carina arm, showing early signs of neural crystallization. Catal's form brightened with purpose. "Shall we show them what humanity and the collective can achieve together?" "Better," Elena replied, activating the quantum comm array. "Let's show them how to achieve it themselves." The stars looked down on our Earth transformed, no longer just humanity's cradle, but the birthplace of a new way of thinking that was spreading across the galaxy. The lesson was clear. True strength didn't lie in domination or resistance, but in the ability to grow together, finding strength in differences and turning apparent weaknesses into catalysts for evolution. As ships bearing the joint insignia of Earth and the collective prepared for another mission of discovery and aid, the galaxy was learning what humanity had known all along, that the greatest adventures weren't in conquering or submitting, but in daring to imagine and create something entirely new. The impossible had become possible, not through force or surrender, but through humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy: the courage to reach across the boundaries of consciousness itself and forge connections that transformed both those who gave and those who received. The legacy of two worlds had become the future of them all.